Well, we first wrote London's in Darkness at a Shabby Rogue rehearsal. I'm not sure of the year. That is, I'm not sure what year it would be. 2005, maybe 6. But basically, we rehearsed in Clapham in a studio, and the three of us got there, and our drummer Tez didn't get there that night because there was a massive power cut. We sat there and decided that we'd write a song, and that's where the title London's in Darkness comes from, because obviously there was a power cut, and a few of the lines survived from that, but essentially that was myself, Tom and John, who was in Shabby Rogue, sat and wrote the song on a guitar. Exactly the same song that you hear on the record, but quite a few differences.
Yeah, so there was a number of lyrical changes that we struggled with when the song was first written, because John was a very, very talented lyricist. It was pretty much immaculate. And we didn't revive this song for a long time, although we had a kind of sense that it might be on the record, because we'd never really done anything with it with Shabby.
I thought of it when we were putting this record together. It occurred to me that it would fit. 'Cause all I see is you. And that's when we thought, okay, well, maybe we should rewrite or look at the lyrics and the feel of the song.
And then when we did look at the lyrics, we discovered we couldn't remember.
We couldn't remember what we'd written, yeah.
But what we were trying to aim for was this sense of a sort of an impression of a world in negative, when things are turned upside down. As you'd imagine, they would have been in those periods when London really was in darkness, maybe in the Blitz or what have you. That was, I suppose, a sort of like an opportunity for all sorts of nefarious deeds, but also some quite romantic deeds as well. We were trying to capture that in the lyrics by, thinking out various metaphors for, things that wouldn't normally happen in certain circumstances. So that's where the idea of the flowers in Green Park, that's where that comes from, because obviously there are no flowers in Green Park. When we listened back, we just didn't feel that it was really doing enough. It wasn't really sort of filling out the song and giving that sense of romance, which we thought was absolutely key, especially if this was like an interpretation of the book and the film. The idea of that central relationship between Burton's character and Claire Bloom's character, you have to believe that there is something tangible there, and because otherwise, if there is no romance, if he feels nothing for her, then his sacrifice at the end of the book means nothing. So that we had to sort of like communicate that. So what we did was we were looking at creating this kind of lush arrangement. So we brought in Maria on the strings. It was just like a cello, and she pretty much, it was just almost like a conversation to make the arrangement. It was, we found our way. And then John Luca added piano at the end.
It was. It's worth saying that we recorded the piano on a baby grand piano just to get that sound. And we were lucky that the Spice of Life in Soho allowed us to use their baby grand to get it. Jean-Luc played the piano, and it was great. And yes, in terms of the relationship, the central relationship in The Spy Who Came From the Cold, I think, is Burton's character with the girl, Claire Bloom, who plays the part in the film. And they had a past, the two of them. They, I think, had affairs before he married Elizabeth Taylor. And I think she was very worried about being in the film because of her past with Burton. And he, at that point, was very, very famous and also very, very dangerous, really. He was drinking huge amounts whilst they filmed, and you can see that in the film there is that. The characters really look as if they care about each other, even though it's almost like an anti-relationship, and his character is so cynical, and yet you do believe that in fact he does care about her, and that fuels ultimately what he does. And we wanted to capture that in the song, that it was a romantic song in the midst of this very cynical scenario that both characters find themselves in, and that's hopefully what it sounds like.
Communism, capitalism. It's the innocents who get slaughtered.
Compassion isn't enough. Nobody wants that. Well, it's got to be organised, disciplined to be of any use. Well, that's what the party does for us, don't you see? It organises our emotions. You're too proud for that, aren't you? Don't let's argue, Alec. This evening was meant to please you.
What did?